Hey guys, welcome to Pilar Orchids. Thanks for checking in. We want to look at the Maxillaria orchids tonight. They're great genera. I think if there's one big group of orchids that maybe could sneak its way into the regular houseplant trade, it's got to be the Maxillarias. I think these could be easily passed off as not orchids, and if somebody bought one, didn't know what it was, maybe surprised that it is an orchid. They're really different. Well, okay, I say they're really different. How should we say it? Well, I think they are different than a lot of other genera of orchids, and quite, let's say, homogeneous in the way they look and the way they grow, even though there are quite a lot of differences, and they're not all the same. We do experiment and we try to push some into higher light and less light. We water some more, let's say we spray more than we spray others and keep them moist. A couple of these we grow inside and grow outside. We do try them in different locations, and another great thing about the Maxillarias is they seem to be very versatile. Like, they're just extremely flexible plants. They tend to do good wherever we put them, quite honestly. Well, okay, maybe there's some exceptions to that. Let's look closer at a few and go through them. Now, I will say it's also interesting about the Maxillarias that when you go online and you look at them, you can find a lot of species and not as many hybrids, which is kind of unique in the orchid world. Yeah, you will see like a few of these, probably the tenuifolia. The Maxillaria tenuifolia is one of the most common ones, smells like coconuts. Supposedly. I don't know. We don't actually have a tenuifolia, so we don't have the most popular Maxillaria species. There are a few that we do have, and one of the newest ones to our collection is the Picta. And we've been growing this one outside, kind of in a shady location over there, where we grow under the table of the catasetums and by the strawberries. That's where we grow this guy, kind of hidden, not so much light. Got a little bit too much light, I think. But it's been out in the cold and the rain. It stays pretty moist. Doing okay, looking good. I mean, it hasn't started any new growths yet at the base, which, yeah, that concerns me a bit, but I don't know. It's doing all right. It's been outside now for a couple months in the cold rain. And then some that we grow inside, these are the Schunkianas, Maxillaria schunkiana. And these are black flowered plants, a very deep colored burgundy, our blackest flower in the orchids for sure. And this used to be one plant, both of these, and we divided them. Maybe if you followed our channel, thanks. You probably, hopefully saw that division video where we split these two up, and they've both recovered okay. It's watering day, so they're soaking right now. We'll let them sit for a few minutes in the water, maybe half hour. It's finally sunny today. It's the first sunny day we've had. And yeah, they will kind of lose these leaves on the older pseudobulbs, and that's okay. That's normal that they do that. But the leaves should stay green on the pseudobulbs for, gosh, a year or two maybe, before they fall off. If they fall before that, maybe something is up with it. And then these are all of the Maxillaria variabilis. So all three of these were the cuttings we took just late last year, or I guess in the fall of last year, and they bloomed in the spring or late winter. And yeah, looking pretty good. Still, they need to be repotted, but I'm not going to do that now. I'll wait and probably take some more cuttings and then combine these with some new cuttings and make a bigger plant. This is the mother Maxillaria variabilis that we take all of our cuttings from. Okay, we bought these like 3.5 years ago or so, and actually they were one plant, and so we took this big set as like a halving, or like a big chunk off of the main plant. And so then we just, this is, I guess, a division, I don't know, a halving, whatever you want to call it. And another one of our new ones, we saved the blooming one for last, is the marginata. This is marginata. Really awesome bloom on this. We'll try to find one that's more open. There's an older flower, kind of more open, so they kind of get this, like the the petals stick together like that or at least on this one. There's lots of flowers on it, blooming all over the plant on all sides. It's a cool plant. Now this one has lived outside since we've bought it, basically. So about 3 months. We put it out when it was 8 degrees. It's still 8, 9 at night, maybe getting a little warmer now. Oh yeah, again, I forgot the temperature conversions. It's cold and it's rainy, and it's been a cold, rainy spring. And it's lived outside the whole time, and it's doing great. It seems to love it out here. So probably leave it outside all summer, and we'll take it back in the fall, maybe in October, November, depending on the weather. It apparently can take some colder temperatures, like the Shunkianas. These guys really love it in November or December when we move them into like our coldest room, and they just immediately go into bloom. So if you give them a really nice cold snap, and when I say cold snap, inside I'm talking like a cold room like 15 C at night, or maybe even a couple degrees below, 12, 13 C, and they do great. They respond really well to that. And these Maxillarias all bloom around Easter in the springtime, as soon as the temperatures start to warm up. So it seems like they're all pretty temperature dependent, or the ones that we have anyway. If you don't have a Maxillaria in your collection, definitely suggest you get one. And if you're not an orchid grower and you're just a houseplant person, then maybe add one. I think you'd find them very easy, very flexible. As far as light, they can tolerate a lot more light. I guess say a lot more than Phalaenopsis. That's such a, yeah, I can't say that. They can handle a lot of light, and they like a lot of light. So we have ours now. The ones outside again are doing pretty good. They like it. You just keep pumping it until they start to get burned or show signs of stress, and then cut back on how much light you're giving them. Try different locations. Temperature pretty flexible. We do water. So if you're a finicky houseplant owner, kind of like we are, and you like to dote and fiddle with the plants, well, these are actually pretty nice because they like a lot of spraying inside to keep it up. So for instance, if you look close at variabilis, you can see that the roots grow in these little sheaths. There's some roots hidden in there. And so if you spray those brown sheaths and you keep them moist, they really respond well to that. At least for us, that has worked really well. And, you know, if we forget, it's not a big deal. It's not like we do it every day. Maybe in the wintertime, do it a couple times a week. Even for the Shunkianas, which don't have as many exposed roots, and they don't kind of grow like serrate or whatever, where they climb on pseudobulbs. Here's a more on the marginata. You can see a more extreme example where the pseudobulbs kind of crawl on top of each other and grow roots. At each node, each division, they grow a set of roots. So you can easily spray these and keep them hydrated. You don't have to, you know, just so focus on the only roots aren't down in the pot. There's roots all over. So when it mists and rains and gets dewy here outside, which it does a lot, this thing gets plenty of water. We barely water this thing, actually. We've only watered it a handful of times over the last couple months. So, yeah, if you don't have a Maxillaria in your collection, go out and get one. They are really fantastic plants. They are smaller. As you can see from this, the blooms, you know, one of the downsides, let's say, is the blooms typically are smaller, and they don't bloom on an inflorescence like a Phalaenopsis where there's lots of flowers on one spike. They just grow single flowers from the bases of the pseudobulbs typically, and they're kind of hidden down in the plant a lot of times. You know, they're not very prominent and showy, but they're very reliable bloomers, so that compensates, and they bloom for a long time successively with just flowers after flowers keep coming out for several months. So as a family, or as a genus of plant, the Maxillarias are fantastic. Go and get you one. Thanks for checking in, guys. We'll see you back here at El Pilar soon. Have a good one.